Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Rashid Mustafa Solangi. Struggle Wise is honored to have you in this interview,
Morning.
exclusively being made for the young lawyers. Sir, what would you say about your initial stages of career as a lawyer?
Walaikum salam, Mr. Fayaz, Barrister Saab. And I'm equally honored to be amongst you here at the forum, particularly for the youngsters. Well, as far when these young guys are concerned, I mean, this is a very good field for the young lawyers who are coming into this field. And we see this change कि यहाँ ने आने काफ़ी मानू अचंद young lawyers as compared to the yesteryears. पहले से नहीं था. Now we are seeing the influx of the young guys being attracted into the field. So we welcome them from this forum into the field.
What do you see the reasons for this influx of youngsters now, which, in what I can see from your comment, was not a trend before?
Well, if we see कि back in it was in 60s when it was the then ruler of the country, perhaps he was General Ayub or General Yahya who wrote the book on foreign affairs, particularly with reference of the relation of Pakistan with United States. Masters, not masters but friends, some sort of the title his book has. He has into the book mentioned that the field of the lawyers is overcrowded. Okay. And he suggested the young guys to opt for other fields. So point says even in yesteryears, it was influx. Okay, this bar, I mean, people were there into the crowds. But the trend, day by day, has not decreased, but it has increased. And there are many of the reasons, factors behind it. Number one was, unfortunately, I mean, if we go back to a decade or so, okay, the reason was unemployment. When the young guys saw that they are not being accommodated into other fields, like initially back a couple of decades, it was engineering and medical field, and then there was the change of the fields anyway. This was one of the reason. And the second reason was, okay, when we saw into the villages a sort of feudal culture that where the families were being victimized by the feudals. And then we also saw the political victimization. Okay. And people felt that the political victimization is there. So the only hope for all these sort of victimized or discriminated people was the judiciary. And whenever they, approach judiciary, they could see, yeah, there is hope. And this is the better source to approach to. And this was a reason the young guys started getting addicted. Now, as I said, political victimization. Up now, if you see all these political families, even their progeny, उनके बच्चे जो हैं, they are opting this field. So these are other reasons for being attracted into the field. So I really see very positive things into this when we see the young guys who are taking this profession as a career. So I see a lot of positive things for this field, for the rule of law, for the independence of judiciary, when we see the influx and we see the quality of the young guys coming into this field.
So you would say now that in these days, profession of law is actually a first choice for many youngsters.
Yeah, true.
Which was not earlier, because as I grew up in our villages, I would have uh, be comfortable to say that most of the people would want to be a doctors, or they would want to be engineers. Back in the days when we were thinking of becoming a lawyer, I also wasn't a lawyer by the first choice of my profession. You spoke about the political influences. You have yourself remained a very influential and activist in bar politics since your early days in Larkana. So, how do you describe that experience, and how essential you think it is to be part of the politics?
Well, yeah, I agree. I've been sort of bar activist. My background is, yeah, got enrolled in Larkana back in 2005, and then I participated into bar activism, and luckily I succeeded in grabbing the seat of general secretary in district bar against a very influential group. So, as for role of bar and activism of lawyers is concerned, that is very essential. See, we often discuss the role of judiciary. Judiciary is actually, when we talk about a role of a young lawyer or a role of a lawyer, then we have to see it in a broader aspect. For understanding the role of a lawyer, we must understand the role of a judiciary into the system, into parliamentary form or into the democratic form of the government. Judiciary is the basic source, though its function as per the law is interpretation of the law. Number second is, on the other hand, it is to safeguard all the fundamental rights. It has to check on the excesses committed by the state. So here the role of a lawyer starts when you as a lawyer become strong. One day, you contribute to the strength of a judiciary. For example, it's a very famous dictum, and it's true that judiciary and bar are the sort of wheels of the same engine. They have to work together. They have to synchronize together. And if judiciary succeeds in getting its achieved or functioning its mandate, according to its mandate, then prosperity of a nation is sure. But that is conditioned to the judiciary, strength of judiciary. Like it's somebody has said, perhaps it's the call of Mulali, that a system based on kufr can survive, but a system based on injustice is certain to collapse. And another example I would give from the history when it was the Second World War, okay, and the British forces were facing troubles into that war, World War II, and they were retreating. So all that war cabinet met on emergency basis. It was the Winston Churchill when he was approached about strategies what to do. So his first question to that war cabinet was whether our judicial system is functioning, whether our judiciary is dispensing the justice. It was a very surprise question for all these journals. We are talking about the war and he's talking about judiciary. Anyway, they said, yes, sir, our judiciary is dispensing justice. Okay, the people are getting the justice. He said, be cool, we are safe. So point to say, even your security system depends on the judiciary. If judiciary is functioning well, your political system does revolve around the judicial system. I mean, if your judiciary is strong, your political system, your electioneering is fair and transparent, because judiciary is also a check on that system, particularly against the states, against the excesses of the states. So back to your question, in all that, the role of a lawyer, the activism, bar activism, is very crucial.